Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
War Chief.
Dire team pick.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Juggernaut.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
No.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Pudge.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Ursa!
Dire team pick.
Ursa warrior.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Invoker.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Weaver!
Outworld devourer.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Smoked up and ready to go out of the base. Execration, they TP up. Is going to be on his way to play some early wards, and he levels up Sakuchi just to get off and on the way as fast as possible. We'll go for a little deep ward for vision and put down a sentry ward to be able to block that small camp, so he gets the most out of the wards in the top lane. Hopefully, they do ping up in that area. That is the big ping, so I guess. But not that they know that's there. Oh, unfortunate. Kimmel placing a little observer ward on the high ground, and the push he found out instantly at a moment's notice. I guess he's just going to wait with the sentry ward. You might as well wait a little bit. You can let the OD eat it with a tango. in the laning stage and just make sure that he gets some good gold. But we'll see if it decides to take it
30
away.
seconds to
He will just be
battle.
like, okay, move it. That's one observer being taken away. In the meantime, bottom lane next in Vietnam, they go for a very, very deep ward. That's kind of unusual placing it that far in, but I guess it's just because they don't want it to ward it and they want to be able to see the rotations. And for the mid lane, just, high ground vision. Good and solid high ground vision top lane. Let's see, they go up, they try to contest on the side of Execration, they go for the jug, spinning forward. Let's see, the Opa is going to take a lot of damage, they might be able to take him down. Nando's going to drop down very, very low. One more hit, the hook comes out from Yassi, skills up the hook just for that kill, gets the kill, so Sunstrike comes out on the Ursa in the face as next in Vietnam, they lose the Ursa. The Weaver gets killed on the side of Execration in the meantime as Yassi gets another one. He has his hook available in 1 second, he can go for the hook comes out, they hit the Rubik. Do they get this kill? One more hit, they get the kill, triple kill to Yassi. As now comes the Weaver for round 2. He's going to try and get a kill on Kimura on Yassi, but nope, not happening. As Yassi will just walk himself the other way. Power Shot was skilled up by the Wind Ranger, and these two heroes will just go back to the shrine, heal back up fully, and then go to the laning stage. As it doesn't really matter if they skilled up their aggressive spells. The hook got skilled up, the Power Shot. They got so many kills out of that, 3 kills, and they are almost level 2, both of them as well. Look at that experience. So well played by Next Gen Vietnam, off to a very good start. Mid lane, and Astral on this guy in the mid lane as well. They need a little bit of experience, and there they go. Yassi gets a little bit of experience from that creep dying, gets level 2, skills up the rod, and then that's going to be an easy follow-up kill in that mid lane. So alright, this guy has already just pretty much carried the early game for him. 4 kills in 1 minute and 20 seconds. That is insane. Aping in the top lane on the Rubik will try and go for a little solid pull, but not really happening. Kind of interesting that Execration decided to send the Timbersaw to the bottom lane just to try and dodge out that Ursa a little bit. But the Ursa will be sent down to the bottom lane himself. They are having the center on the top lane against the Juggernaut, and the roaming squad is moving around the Rubik, what's called the Wind Ranger, together with the Pudge, moving around trying to get kills. The Ursa, he might suffer a little bit in the bottom lane just because he's alone, but he is still playing against the Timbersaw, so it is one of the better lanes in the world that you could have. The Timbersaw sitting on 8 lasses, 9 lasses, whilst the Ursa is kind of half that at the moment. The Weaver is also pulling and being a little bit annoying, trying to get some farm for himself. So overall, it seems like Execration, they're trying to just weed out the lanes as much as they possibly can. And at the moment, it's okay. I mean, the Juggernaut will be able to farm decent against the Centaur. He's a little bit behind. And the Centaur will get, well, pretty much free farm in this lane, honestly. There's not much they can do to stop him. He already has his boots, his poleman shield. He can pick up a quelling blade if he wants to, so there's not much to do to stop this guy from farming anymore, especially when you only have one support here in the lane, and he doesn't really have a lot of control in this lane. As the Pudge level 3, he's a little bit too scared to just randomly run into. As you can see, the Pudge, he has boots complete, he has 1,000 gold on top of that, as I don't even know what you want to buy at that point. I mean, I would imagine just, yeah, small items. He goes for one, some tranquil boots and whatnot. He could also have gone for like an urn pickup, or potentially a Russian Midas, but I guess it makes sense to just go for early game items. That's a lot of value though either way. And let's see. Wind Ranger tries to harass this Jug a little bit, does skill up his Shackle as well at the 2nd level, so still no wind run, still no movement speed. Not that he needs it too much, but in case he gets spun on, that would be nice to have, just to get that get a little bit further away. In the meantime, mid lane looks like the OD might be a little bit in trouble. The Gilpin Swarm on this guy with that double damage. Weaver coming into position, and he gets the kill on the OD. Hook comes out from Yassi with that TP rotation, but he doesn't get to do anything with it. That is going to be 1 dead on the side of Next Gen with a good little rotation from the Beetle Boy. He's level 3 himself now, doing a lot of damage. Goes and tries to pick up the enemy's boundary ring. We do see Yassi moving into position to try and contest him, but he does have his what's it called, Tsukuchi available in case of emergency. Looks like Yassi wants to try and take this fight. The double damage doesn't end. Let's see if Yassi can get this kill. They need to outplay each other. He needs to dodge out that hook. He's going the other way, trying to escape. Hook comes out, not hitting on it. Tsukuchi's going to be available in a few seconds. Let's see if Yassi gets committed on with Kimuel, he goes in, he goes to the security, he tries to get a couple of hits off, does get the hits off, but now he's going to be in trouble as the Wind Ranger comes in from the sidelines, and looks like this is going to be a dead bug, as indeed Yassi will get a mega kill streak by securing that Weaver kill. Sunstrike came out from the Invoker, but not able to connect. Alright, another kill and another death. Meantime, ProDotA ended up dropping down the Ursa. Did rotate back up to the top end. Looks like the Timbersaw is going to be a little bit in trouble. Double Edge didn't come out from the Centaur in time as he got lifted up and sent away. So EVOS will survive on this Timbersaw and not be punished for the Ursa kill. Ursa in the meantime in the top, it looks like this guy, he goes to the other lane. He just died in the bottom lane, goes to the top and he's like, okay, I'll be able to farm in the top lane now. But that is going to be denied, as well as the Juggernaut will go in, spin in his face, the Weaver comes in as well, and the Ursa dies yet again. Well, this Ursa's early game has kind of been destroyed now, but I guess that's just the life he's living. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Double Edge came out from the Centaur. He just ran him down and just decided, you know, dude, you're like 200 HP, I have Double Edge, I'll just click this button and then you die. Click button, die. Play around vision. Rubik does ping that there's vision there though, so he does know there's a ward there. And it's kind of obvious as well. I mean, why would you, if you sit here, why would you like try and juke around the tree if it's saying that you have vision as Rubik, unless you just like, you know, you want to try and hide something. So maybe a little bit obvious, but oh well. Oh well.
Visibility.
Either the Ursa, level 5, finally gets to pick up some boots. Once he's level 6, you know, it will be a lot easier for him to survive because he will have his enrage available. So I guess it's not all that bad. He has 20 lasses. He's only about 8 lasses behind the Jug, and considering he never had a support in his lane and he's died a couple of times, then it's not that horrible. Nando in the meantime, he's just, you know, moving himself from the jungle back into the lane, trying to secure himself some levels and farm as well as much as possible. Meanwhile, the mid lane looks like Weaver gets dropped down on side of Execration. They get the fight kill in return, and let's see, the Weaver tries to go in and get a kill on that OD. He needs to take away the bugs. The Weaver, it might decide to go a little bit deeper, but no, the healing cell comes out from the OD, and that is going to be the end of that. As the Weaver goes in, tries to pop it maybe, but no, he needs to be careful. The punch comes back and he puts down the sentry ward, and Yassi is going to be back in order, back to get some kills. But overall, that kill was actually worth it for the side of was worth it for the side of Execration, because the Pudge had a 5-kill mega, 5-kill streak, it's called a mega kill streak, that's it. So a good amount of gold being given away to the Weaver. He's now level 5, sitting on 1k gold with a bottle already purchased earlier, so his early game sustain is going to be decent for support here. And he also has more experience than the Pudge at the moment, so even though Yassi was off to a very good start, he has given a lot away to that Weaver. The Weaver is going to be a happy boy. He was on the bottom and very low in terms of HP. Those regen up slowly, but that Double Edge is doing a lot of work against him. And the Centaur runner, he's going for the maximum regen. He does have a lot he has so many lasses from the top lane where he was all alone that he can lane against this Timbersaw now. Usually this is a lane matchup that's awful for the Centaur, but he just has so much more gold that it makes it a little bit easier. Sure, as I say that, in terms of net worth, they're even, but you're supposed to have almost no farm on the Centaur. The Centaur might be a little bit in trouble. Does go for the Stampede. He might be able to go on the Timbersaw again, but they need to play safe. One wall in death is going to be his doom, and death here with the Sunstrike come out. Doesn't actually connect on him, so the Centaur will go and pop a Grand Heal, and that is going to be the end of this little attempt to fight. So, I guess, you know, stuff happens. They tried to pop the Timbersaw, not actually, and a hero that is easy to kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane, the Ursa gets dropped down by the Weaver, making a rotation as well. He picks up a medallion, so he's going to be able to do a lot more damage in this early game, and he's level 6, so that time lapse is available as well, meaning that, you know, it's going to be much more difficult to deal with this guy. Meanwhile, 3-man smoking comes up to the bottom, but once they go for the Timbersaw, they go in, they set out with an Ash, but the Ursa comes in, they want to be caught up fighting. You goes for the move, a little timber chain away, but, you know, 4 heroes in the lane. There's no way this guy survives when he's that deep, that far under the tower. So a nice little rotation from next gen, securing a kill on the side of Execration. And Execration, in the meantime, seeing that there's 4 heroes in the bottom lane, they're like, okay guys, let's do something useful, and let's try and stop this from happening. Let's push the wave, let's push the tower a little bit. They go for scan as well, just to know exactly how much time they have before this OD mission. And the OD is now in the mid lane. He does have his Midas completed. Same thing for the Invoker in just a minute. He needs 300 more gold. So both the mid laners is going for this like greedy economy game kind of thing. And the OD, he's the one in charge. 3.8k net worth at the moment. The Jug and the Invoker is following him up. The Centaur is a little bit behind them, but also having a decent amount of farm. And the Ursa plus the Pudge is now falling behind. They're sitting on 2k net worth each, whereas the Weaver and the Centaur are sitting on 3,000. Now the Journey goes in, finds the Yassi hiding in the trees, goes for a spin, will cut himself through the trees, and hopefully survive. And, well, Nando, maybe a little bit in trouble, but, you know, you can just cut yourself through the trees and then everything will be fine. The Centaur tries to see if he can spot him out, but not going to be in time to get a kill on that Jug, as Pudge dropped and nothing got punished. Nice little move there from Nando, not having to use his Omni Slash either, so it's always good. He didn't have enough mana for Omni Slash either way, but just that you don't have to use the cooldown is not a bad idea. Now, you know, goes back to speed wave. He might have to go for spin on it to be able to kill it. Let's see.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see. Overall net worth. A little bit less than a 3,000 net worth inside of Execration at the moment, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah, off to a better laning start. The Weaver is ahead of the Pudge at the moment, and the Timbersaw is also having a better time than the Ursa in the lane. So overall, that's why they're a little bit ahead, and make sure they need to try and catch up a little bit. The Pudge is now level 6, so it's going to be much easier to use him to get kills. But as I say that, the Ursa, a little bit in trouble, does have his rage available for the next 12 seconds. I'm not sure if they know this, but looks like they have a good idea. He's not able to survive this. The Pudge needs to go for this number on the Timbersaw. They TP in on the Centaur. They go for the double edge, and once again they make a lot of rotations down to this lane, making sure that the Timbersaw gets punished for going too close to the tower. Top tower in the meantime gets taken down by Execration, so it is going to be a trade-off, a life for a tower, and that is going to be the trade they're willing to make on the side of Execration.
Radiant's bottom tower
They
is
still
under
farm nicely
attack.
on the Invoker, of course. They don't have too many ways to set up for Sunstrike kills, so he needs to just find all of his farm in the jungle. The only way they can set up for him would pretty much be that Rubik lift, so it's maybe not the best draft to actually set up for the Invoker to get a lot of early game farm, as if you play Invoker in the mid lane and you have like 2 or 3 heroes who have stuns available to set up for Sunstrike kills, that is the most joyful time to play Invoker, because you get so many easy kills, so many easy frags, much easy gold. But this guy, he just has to get all of the gold on his own, just farm, get that Aghanim set up and running as fast as possible, and then move on from there. In the meantime, next in Vietnam, looks like they're going for a 3-man smoke gang with that Ursa. They want to try and use him for something. I'm not sure if he's just going to wrap around or go for Roshan. Looks like that's going to be the play. And Centaur plus Pudge moves on to the bottom area, tries to find something. Maybe the Timbersaw is going to be the hero they find and kill, but he's already moving himself away. In the meantime, 3-man smoke gang is going to be sent up to the top end from Execration. They're going to be on the move. They see an OD and they want this OD. He goes on after, just farm a little bit, and that means that he's going to be an easy hero to kill. Lift into Sunstrike, and that is going to be the death of the OD.
Dyer's top
Gears in the
tower is
meantime
under
does
attack.
keep himself into the Roshan pit. In the meantime, I'm not sure if he was scouted out or not. They didn't have any vision there, and he was also smoke before this happened. But if the Rubik just takes a little small peek, then that is going to be an Ursa in trouble. We'll see the Weaver's also nearby. Oh, just walk into the pit, guys. Walk into the pit. Just do it. People, walk into the pit, please. Nope, looks like you will get away with that sneaky Roshan. Timbersaw in the meantime will be taken down as well, so they get both the Aegis as well as this Timbersaw kill they've been longing to get for a little while.
A golden thread.
Alright, well that's a good change in pace. Execration obviously still moving further and further ahead, but after that little pick off plus the Aegis going the way of next in Vietnam, they do get a good amount of gold here, so will be much more difficult to deal with as well at the moment. He's trying to rush towards his Blink, needs 1000 more gold before that's going to be available. The Centaur will have his Blink up to 200 gold as well, so Blink initiation is going to be a thing that they can use on next in Vietnam very soon. DOD is trying to finish up his 4-staff, which will be up momentarily with that mice helping him out to get some gold. The Wind Ranger, just like Cane Boots for now, same thing with trying to finish up a 4-staff as well to be able to get some gold between him and the Timbersaw potentially. Astral comes out from the Rubik, looks like that's going to be a dead Pudge as well, indeed. That does enough damage to bring him down, so A-Ring will be able to get a free little kill there. And meanwhile, bottom lane, the German gets time afterwards. They go for the Stampede in the meantime, but they don't do enough damage to actually bring him down fast enough. And that is going to be the Juggernaut escaping. Meanwhile, he comes in from the sidelines, does try to go on the Wind Ranger, but he just TPs out in front of him, makes sure that he doesn't give any kills to the side of Execration. Makes sense as well. Oh, who comes up? Yes, he's trying to grab that Weaver. Maybe. Nando in the meantime is sitting in the sidelines waiting for his healing wall to be available again, and the Weaver gets jumped on. Centaur blinks forward, gets that stomp off, and that is going to be a dead Weaver as he gets killed. Having that sentry ward available put in place already before this fight started. I guess the Weaver didn't really expect that to be happening, so he ends up dropping down because of it. Nice little pick off to the side of next gen. Let's take a look at the items as well. Rubik, just small items like Cane Boots. The Timbersaw does have his bit of the plans completed. Is moving towards an Eel Scepter next as he wants to have some early game items. Eel Scepter is probably one of the best items against heroes like Pudge, because obviously dismembers a channeling spell, and also Ursa because whenever he pops his enrage he hits a lot harder and you don't do any damage to him anyway. Voka gets hooked and shackled in the mid lane. Looks like that is going to be a dead Voka as they want him in the grave, in the ground.
Middle tower is under attack.
Alright, let's see. Gets shot out in the mid lane, hits onto the OD just to be a little bit annoying, stopping this tower push from happening as they do not want to give up that early tier 1 tower in the mid lane to the side of next gen Vietnam. Despite losing the Invoker, they will at least maintain the tower defense.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
See the other heroes, Juggernaut, very close to finishing that Manta Sauce, first item, the Weaver, does rush towards his Acronym Scepter on top of his medallion, doesn't want to finish the Solar Crest or get any kind of early game items other than that. You know, some ground boots perhaps. He went for a little bit earlier,
Radiant's
but Acronym Scepter, the earlier the better, right? You want to be able to use that time lapse to save heroes like Timbersaw, who does so much if they have a little bit of extra survivability, they can do everything. And Centaur goes in, gets 5-2-man stomp off. They get the kill on the Weaver instantly with the Sanity 6 being committed from the OD, making sure that they had just enough burst damage to bring him down without letting the time lapse slide before that. And that is going to be a dead Weaver. They're now going to the mid lane, try once again to go for the push. They still have the Aegis on Ursa for at least a minute or so. So let's see that tower drop down. Fortification comes out, Execration. They are in the area with a lot of heroes. They're even rotating in the Juggernaut, but I'm not sure they want to do this. Keeping in front of the tower, goes to the deny, and Nanda will be successful doing so. The Centaur in the meantime tries to blink forward, tries to catch Invoker in the back lines. Not actually going to be happening though. And let's see the Timbersaw gets hit by this member. Astral comes out from A-Bank, keeping him alive. He goes for the steal on the push, gets a rod instead. Not really the best in the world, but you gotta try sometimes. Maybe you get the hook, maybe you don't. But this time that is going to be a you don't get a hook. Nice Astral save on the Timbersaw though, making sure that he didn't get killed. That's always something you don't expect, that Astral save comes in the game. Another 2-man stun. Comes out, gets a hit on the Timbersaw, gets taken down from the Astral, comes out from the OD, trying to just set up for some more kills. Juggernaut is going to be controlled. Timelapse comes out from the Weaver. They go for healing ward and they will slowly heal up on everyone. They mean that the OD still trying to still trying to fall off with someone. Ursa playing forward. Goes for the initiation on the Rubik. Rubik will be taken down and Rage has already been used. The Aegis will finally be popped. And that is going to be the last couple of seconds. The Aegis was up anyways. Might as well use it for something. They got a kill on the Ruby because of that. So I guess he's going to be pretty happy with that. I mean, at least getting to use that Aegis is like the most satisfying feeling in the world. You pick up an Aegis early game and you're like, I want to use it, guys. I want to suicide. I want to get a kill. And that was legit like maybe like 20 seconds before the Aegis dropped anyways. So maybe playing a little bit, playing with his life a little bit there, but he had faith. In everyone's pub games, that would be the scenario where you go in and then like a second before you die, the Aegis expires and you're like, whoops. Alright, like the Roshan will be up fairly early. It's 5 minutes to go before it will respawn. Top lane, they're trying to set up the wheel. They go in, they get a thumb off with that Centaur again, and that is everywhere on the Centaur, setting up a kill after kill after kill with those hoof stomp initiations, and he will continue to do so throughout this game. That is going to be the whole net worth from the side of Execration gone, and in the ground as next gen Vietnam. They are now 2,000 gold ahead, 4,000 experience ahead. They will go for another tier 1 tower on the top lane. Meanwhile, the mid lane is going to be pushed out by Nando's Jug, and the bottom lane tower might be taken now, but the Timbersaw doesn't really do too much tower damage, so once the Centaur comes back into position, he will be stopped from moving, and here comes the Heroes, and here comes the Centaur. They go for hoof stomp. The Centaur is still going to be alive for the moment. They have a thing available in 8 seconds. Do they commit for this kill? That is the question. The Timbersaw, oh, he misses with Timber Chain. That's not good. There's no trees on the other side. There's no trees here, guys. No trees. They're all gone. So Timbersaw will be taken down. Lift comes out from the Rubik onto the Ursa. Gets a kill on the Rubik. Suntrack will miss. The Centaur in the meantime might be a little bit in trouble. Needs to get that bug away so he can go for playing away in the meantime. The Dragon gets sent in from the sidelines. The OD goes in. Cosmic Scientist Eclipse. The Weaver gets hit by a Shackle, and that is a dead Weaver as well as Execration. They lose 4 heroes and they don't even get the kill on the Ursa to at least make it a little bit better. Oh boy. I mean, you know, a kill on the Pudge at the least, but they didn't get anything else. They lost 4 heroes. That is a very, very sore loss on the side of Execration, as they need to be careful. The Weaver's early game farm, I mean, he's still not at the point where the Acronym set is finished, so he's still not like super strong. He's like okay strong. The Invoker just finished up his own Acronym setup, so he's going to be able to do a little bit more work than before. He's going towards his travel boots, blink and whatnot before he starts fighting with his team. The Juggernaut, well, the Mantis is completed, but you really need a damage item on top of that before you become a scary force of power. For the Timbersaw, he's not really ever gotten to the point of having good items this game, as he's being found, he's being killed repeatedly this game. He's still trying to finish that Eel Scepter, or at least that is what he's showing with his quick buy, but you can always change your mind if you'd rather feel like you want to go for the Bloodstone. In case he gets like a good fight going for him, he gets 2,000 gold on a fight or something like that. A Bloodstone would be much more likely to see himself get hit by Shackle. The OD goes in on him, they set up with that ultimate with the Centaur Stampede, and again the Timbersaw just drops down repeatedly. Good thing he doesn't have a Bloodstone complete already, otherwise it would be down to like 2 charges. So that's like the joyful thing you can think about. The Timbersaw actually changes his mind now. He's going for Blade Mail instead, so he decides, okay guys, I'm being killed way too easily right now. They have loads of damage, so I might as well go for something that will at least annoy the enemy team for a couple of seconds. I'm pretty sure the Ulsep is still the better option, but I guess in case he gets dismembered, the Ulsep won't really be helpful because obviously you die within the dismember. So that's what they will have to deal with. Mid lane, they go in on the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut gets hit by that. Dismember will be taken down, as that is another one dead inside of Execration. This feels like they're being chased around the map and found and killed everywhere. Rubik gets killed in the top lane as Execration. They tried to split push the 2 lanes, but they end up losing the heroes everywhere. The Weaver's trying to get himself the other way, trying to escape. The Sense on the meantime, he does have a blink available, goes in for the blink, doesn't get the hoof stomp on just in time. They have another blink soon enough. He gets forced off forward by that Pudge, but it's not going to be good enough. They don't land perfectly. Blink available in 3 seconds. Haste Rune is up and running. They might still try and go for a chase here as the Pudge goes in, sees the Weaver in a second, goes for a hook, hits the hook as well. The Weaver is going to be hit by a time that comes out. The Stomp is available. They go for the Stomp. Looks like this Weaver is going to be taken down as the chase is going to be successful. Next gen, they find the Weaver. Oh boy, oh boy. This is going from bad to worse. They're just really just being initiated on everywhere on the map. They're losing heroes. They get jumped on, some pieces close them up as well. The Shackle Struck comes up in the win range in the meantime. Will be taken down. Simple tries to go in on that Centaur. The Centaur goes for who still doesn't hit it. In the meantime, German goes in for an armor slash on that Pudge. Will be able to take down the Pudge. Centaur from the sideline takes a lot of time. Jody comes in with that blink. Hurricane Pike being available. He goes up to Nando. Nando has no intelligence left, nowhere to run, and he will be killed alongside the Timbersaw with that Santis Eclipse, blowing them to bits. As that is yet again 4 dead inside of Execration, and the only counter kill they got was the Pudge. sanity to inflict such damage much well. Alright, let's take a look at the items now. The items is up and running on that Centaur, so the damage reduction is going to be helpful. Sure, it's only 40% now, but it's still very, very good. This, the OD is halfway towards his BKB and top of his Blink plus Hurricane Pike. The Ursa is trying to finish up an Aghanim Scepter himself. Will have that up momentarily. Mechanism on the Wind Ranger with an Urn as well. So this guy is having the sustain of his lifetime. I mean, Urn and Mech on the same hero. That's a lot of sustain for one guy. 1500 HP. So he's very hard to kill. The Pudge with that force off. Trying to go for the Eul Scepter next, but it will take a little while before that is going to be happening. Execration as well. Let's see. Rubik, nothing on him. Pretty much just nothing on him. The Weaver still needs 1,000 more gold for Zack and himself, and Timbersaw a little bit more than he has his blade mill. But Pudge really can go for hooking. He doesn't have his Aether Lens, so the range is not abysmal, but he'll hold it back. He'll just wait for it for now. In the meantime, they go for a smoke on the side of Execration. They want to try and contest this, and let's see how they initiate, because they don't have anyone with a blink available, so they need to actually run them down to be able to get a proper initiation. That is the worst thing in the world inside of Execration. They cannot like blink initiate on anyone. They need to walk them down and hope for the best, but looks like that's not really going to be happening, as next in Vietnam they realize that something fishy is going on. They'll just back themselves up. They'll go for Roshan, as the Earth is already in the pit trying to do the prep work, and that looks like to be that looks to be an easy. In the meantime, though, Execration, they are trying to rotate in, and maybe look to contest. Sunstrike comes out, does a little bit of damage onto Roshan. In the meantime, next in Vietnam, they're not really looking to back themselves up. They have the control around the pit area. They are the ones with the Pudge with a hook. The Swarm comes out, so they comes out as well from the Invoker trying to do something. They do have that Swarm available. Juggernaut gets hit by a hook. As the Pudge sets up perfectly for another kill. That is going to be a dead Juggernaut. 50 seconds on the sidelines, no buyback available. So Execration, they will have to give up Roshan for free. Alright, he is allowed to be down, and that is the next gen Vietnam lineup looking to go high ground now. They only have a couple more towers left to go. Let's see, the tier 2 tower in the mid lane has already dropped, and the tier 2 tower in the top lane is very close to dropping down as well. So it is all about the high ground push now, and they are fairly strong at the moment. They should be strong enough to go high ground. They have a Pudge with a 4-star. So they have hooks, they have 4-stars, they have a lot of ways to get away from high ground. The OD has a 4-star, and he has his defensive like Astral into blink away in case of emergency. I believe that's going to be BKB flying out as well. So yeah, BKB is completed. The Ursa has his Aghanim set up and running as well. They have Stampede with Aghanim set on the Centaur, so I don't think there's any reason they wouldn't go high ground despite Execration having the full squad alive at the moment. I don't think they're afraid of anything. So Execration, they are the ones who have to muster defense and try and hold the base, hold the ground. But it's going to be a very, very hard ask to do, as where's the damage? That's the question. Where is the damage? They don't have that action on the Weaver, so survivability is going to be a small issue. And here in the bottom lane, goes to the timer, gets jumped on, gets hit by that time, what's called by the hoofstomp from the Centaur, and he drops down again. Stampede comes out. The OD is going to be in the mid lane trying to find a kill. The Rubik will go for self. Ash will go for a little bit more time. Ash will come. Okay. The OD didn't have any time to wait to get that kill. Juggernaut will be found in the sideline, will be killed by the Ursa. In the meantime, Astral comes out on that movement, controlling him, putting him in place. He goes invisible, tries to get himself away from here. It looks like he will be fine because of that. He had a very, very limited amount of intelligence left, very, very low mana, but either way, he will survive. 3 dead inside of Execration though, and again, next gen, they don't lose anything. They just use spells, they use ultimates, they kill people, and they don't care. I mean, going into this series, I was expecting Execration would have a good time winning this, but next in Vietnam, they have like a draft, and they're playing it very, very well against this greedy draft of Execration. Now the OD gets lifted up into the air by that tornado, who comes out from there. Yes, he doesn't hit onto anyone. Comes out onto 2 people. That is again troublesome, as the Weaver as well as Timbersaw gets taken down. The Centaur hiding himself behind a tree, coming in right at the right time, and again, it's just every time he sets up with a 2-man hoofstomp, and they die every single time. As Execration are now going to be down to here at Mando. Just hit by a couple of drops from that OD. They need to be careful. Sure, he doesn't have his ultimate available just yet, but he is doing a lot of damage. 40 stolen intelligence, and that tier 3 tower is going to be down to half HP. They're looking to push on further. They have the enrage available on the Earth with a very low cooldown, so see if they just keep on pushing. They don't want to waste the Aegis though, and I'm not sure why the... Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, why does he keep using Earthshark? But obviously, because you have an OD, he's trying to get mana, but it's not that easy to do when Rage gets popped. Cold Wall is going to keep him in place and gets the fusion lob as well by Nando. In the meantime, the Jackal comes out on the Rubik Room. He will be initiated. He will be killed. Will stop. Hits the Invoke on the sidelines. The Invoker will be killed next. Nando might be a little bit in trouble. Doesn't have a spin available. Doesn't have his mana to throw on through for the next 1 second. Tries to go for the Mantis style. Will heal up with his Strand. Looks like he's going to be fine for now. EOD. Very easy. He comes out. They get that extra little bit of movement speed. Nando will be killed in the Juggernaut. The Timber comes in from the sidelines. Goes to the Timber Chain. Doesn't hit anything in the meantime. That's going to be a creep in the way. So yes, cannot go for an easy hook. He goes for the hook. Hits the Weaver. They go for the hook stomp as well. GG will play gets called, as that is going to be the end of this first game. Execration. They get demolished. Alright, well played by Next Gen Vietnam. First game goes to them, and let's see if Execration they can pick up a new draft and go from there on forward, as this first game definitely looked very promising.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Axe.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Omni Knight.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Sniper!
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
begun now. Next-Gen Vietnam versus Execration. This is the game that Next-Gen wants to try and close out. Send Execration down to the lower bracket in these playoffs of ProDotA Cup Season 6 in the SEA region. Let's do it. Let's do it. Creation, they just go down to standard lanes. No offlane, dual lane jug or anything like that. Just normal lanes, straight up, move out, get into position. The Magnus will be in the top lane with that Pullman shield already available. Keep in mind that the Pullman shield actually got sort of nerfed recently because you cannot buy the slippers of agility in the side shop anymore. So most people, there was a lot of people who's like, you know, as a carry, you build a stout shield and then you pick up the components in the side shop. Same thing for offlane. You might go for like a stout shield plus stout shield and a ring of protection kind of opening, and then pick up the full Pullman shield a little bit after. But since you cannot buy the slippers of agility in the side shop anymore, Pullman shield is kind of like indirectly nerfed a little bit, and that makes sense because Pullman shield is like one of the best early, it's probably the best early game item. So nerfing that a little bit by just not being able to buy it in the side shop anymore is a decent idea, I guess. So, you know, a small nerf. I mean, let's see, bottom lane looks like Execration, they're going to move in, they want to go in and try and contest this, but there's so many years inside of Next-Gen already put in place in this bottom area. It seems like they know what Execration is doing before they even know it themselves. As initiating here, trying to go for a contest is not going to be paying off for the side of Execration. They will have to move back empty-handed. The Omni Knight does have that Orb of Venom available level 1, so he is indeed going for a zoning kind of build on this guy. The Abaddon will be the offlaner on the side of Next-Gen Vietnam, and looks like they are going for a very greedy position for Axe. I'm not sure if I like this more, though, having the Centaur is actually going to be the safe laner. So Centaur will be one-on-one against the Magnus. So again, they put emphasis on the Centaur receiving a lot of farm this game. And considering how much he did in the last game, I understand that you want this guy to have a good timing on his items. I understand that completely. He should also be able to have an okay time against the Magnus in this 1v1. I'm not sure if he's going to win the 1v1, but he should have an okay time. I mean, it should be like pretty even overall. The bottom lane, Abaddon versus two heroes, the Jug as well as the Rubik. I guess it doesn't really matter too much for him. The Omni Knight is trying to harass the Axe as much as possible. We'll be able to harass him a little bit, stop him from farming these camps, leech a little bit of experience as well. But once the Axe gets a couple of levels and a little bit more survivability, picked up a stout shield, it will get easier and easier for him to farm and enjoy his life in the jungle. The Wind Ranger as well stacked up a couple of camps for him with that power shot, so he's going to receive a little bit more farm because of that. That is a very happy Axe, you know, instant level 2. He gets to clear out this creep wave. He can use that shrine from the mid lane as well if he needs to. So this is like the standard greedy Axe in the jungle where you just take everything on the map and you take all the shrines and you're just like an asshole overall. We'll see if that's going to be happening. Wind Ranger in the meantime moves into position, tries to contest this Magnus a little bit, as you might as well help your fellow Centaur to get off to a better start than he already did. He does have a healing cell available, so in case of emergency he can get some extra regen. And last hit wise, he's sitting on 9 last hits versus the 7 last hits of the Magnus, so he's having a good start. Sure, good start for sure. Pause, sorry, Spike. In the meantime, bottom lane looks like Yassi. He's being spun to death, as this A-Bang Omni Knight as well as Nanda will secure themselves the first spot this game as Execration. They will not keep this Abaddon alive. He does have a shield on him by the looks of things. Oh no, that shield actually already dropped down, so you know, to be determined dead. Yeah, this is like the bet of a lifetime. How does he die to the spin first, or does he die to the Orb of Venom effect from the Omni Knight? He has troll HP, Orb of Venom does 3 damage every single time. Pretty sure it's going to be kind of difficult though, because it's like what you do, like 80 damage in 5 seconds, so you do like roughly like 16-17 damage per second. You should just instantly kill him with the next little bit of damage. We'll see. Seems like the sniper in the mid lane is also being outlaned. As this matchup is like, this is like the matchup you would usually expect the sniper to have a good time. He is supposed to win against OD, but OD is sitting on 10 lasts, 6 denies, and the sniper's only sitting on 3 lasts himself, so he's apparently having a little bit of a tough time in this matchup. Maybe we'll be able to get a little bit back against it, but the OD is having a very, very good start, and he's just shooting out those Ashfuls left, right, and center, making sure that the sniper has a difficult time getting lasts himself, and he's having... COD is going to have a good amount of farm. Juggernaut on the bottom lane, free farming as well. The Axe in the jungle obviously having decent lasts. He should be the most farm here in this game if he continues to farm at the speed that he is right now. The Sense on the top and also doing nicely, but they need to make sure the sniper at least gets a good amount of farm as well. You need to have 3 heroes who gets good lasts this game on the side of Next Gen Vietnam. It's okay that one lane doesn't go well because you have the Axe in the jungle, but you cannot accept that 2 lanes doesn't go well. Things I kind of that's one of the lanes as well. Oh, as I say that Abaddon bot looks he's in the drain yet again. He does try to survive, does try to juke himself around, but lift the slow from the Omni Knight with both the Orb of Venom as well as the DJ and Aura and that spin from Nanda will be a second death on the Abaddon. He cannot move himself around. Axe in the top lane. There's a little call again. Another stat camp for him. He's going to be level 4 right now, 3 minutes into the game. Does have 800 gold on him, and this P camp has been farmed. The Centaur has been leeching a little bit of it. The Magnus is in position in the sidelines. Does have that Pullman shield, his Quelling Blade as well. The Centaur is trying to get a little bit of region up and running for himself, and slowly and surely he will be able to do a lot more damage to this Magnus. Eventually he can go for like a ringer, he can what's called go for ring of health as well, and then he can start just using double edge as an aggressive tool if he wants to. Down mid lane, sniper, well, still sitting on half the amount of lasts as the OD, so overall it looks like Execration they're the ones with the early game lead, having a 600 net worth at the moment. The Abaddon, he's slowly starting to get some levels for himself, but it's been a tough ride. I mean, he's already died 2 times in this lane. He still doesn't have his boots of speed available, so until that happens, it's going to be a tough time. There's no creeps to be had either. The creeps are under the tower. He might not be able to deny all of these creeps in the Juggernaut, but he's going to do his very best, and it looks like that's going to be a creep camp pushing into the Abaddon. While this is happening with the Abaddon, he is in trouble. He's going to be run down. He's going to be killed by this duo squad, the Rubik as well as the Omni Knight. They get another kill on the Abaddon, and that is just in time to stop him from receiving any further farm. Those boots of speed will have to wait a little bit longer. The Omni Knight moves in, gets the bounty runes taken away from the Abaddon as well. The Abaddon moves in, tries to see if it's still around, but he should have a very obvious idea that it's not around. It's gone. We'll stack this camp, then move back to the lane, but it needs to be fast. There's a lot of experience waiting for him. You don't want to lose this. Wind Ranger gets spotted out on the sideline. He goes for 2 skill points in Wind Ranger. I'm sure that's not the idea. That was just a panic move there from the Wind Ranger, but that's going to be a very costly one. As skilling up Wind Run twice, that is not good. I mean, you know, 1 point in Wind Run, sure, why not? But having a second point in it, that is useless. You only skill it up to be able to... Well, you only skill it up when you have nothing else to skill up, because the slow effect is the only thing you gain, plus the duration on the Wind Run. So it's not quite worth skilling up. That's kind of sad. That's kind of very sad. Kind of small misplacement the side of Next in Vietnam. That's, you know, the Abaddon is having a tough time. The Wind Ranger makes a very big mistake there, and it just feels like the early game from Next in Vietnam is being destroyed already, as the OD will get a kill on the sniper in the mid lane with that Astral securing that death of the sniper. So another kills the side of Execration. They have 5 and 0, so seems like they have just shaken up that first game, shaken it off, and now it's going to be the second game. They're going to be the ones in the lead, and they want to just bring the destruction back to the side of Next in Vietnam.
Regeneration.
Alright, if we take a look at the net worth as well at the moment, the Juggernaut is #1. Bottom lane looks like he's up to get another kill on that add-on. They go in with the Axe, they go for a call as well, trying to turn things around, but it's already too late. The Abaddon is already dead, and looks like the Axe might be a little bit in trouble himself. They don't want to go under the tower to go for this kill, but the Axe did not do anything to stop that kill from happening. He is level 6 himself now, so he does have that Culling Blade available in case of emergency. And it looks like he will be helping the Abaddon in this lane to try and put a little bit of pressure on that Juggernaut. He doesn't have another call available. Goes in. Okay, the Courier gets taken down as the axe went in. The spin came off and the Courier died to the spin. Looks like the Juggernaut may be a little bit in trouble himself now. Goes for the spin. Repel comes out on him. He's able to get himself further away from that axe. The axe still tries to run him down, but the Juggernaut is repeatedly healing up Nando, making sure that his death is going to be prolonged as much as possible. The Courier kill is nice though. Just, you know, a little casual spin, getting a kill on the Courier. Why not? It's always nice. Casual spin, guys. Just a casual spin. The axe moves into the sidelines, does have another call available, goes and tries to finish up these creeps. As Yassi, he's going to have to do with just leeching experience. He's not really going to be able to get any last hits himself, but at least he can leech some experience from that axe. Sitting on 1500 net worth at the moment, his ultimate is available now, so he's going to be a little bit more difficult to kill. The Rubik comes in, tries to do some racket damage onto that axe. The axe is running down the Rubik in the meantime. He does have a lift available in case of emergency. He goes to the left, the Protect Shield comes out to stop that lift from happening, and looks like the Rubik might be a little bit in trouble. The ultimate comes out from the Abaddon. He goes for a repel on that Omni-Knight, but he gets dunked in the face, and that is going to be a dead Rubik. DED dead Rubik. The Omni-Knight. Okay, the OD comes in from the side, finds that Abaddon. He's a little bit too far away, too far out of reach. And the axe in the meantime, he's just jungling in the enemy's area, so he's taking away as much farm as he possibly can. The OD does have that recipe drop down on the ground as well. It will be delivered to him by the Rubik. He's like, okay, I don't have a Courier, guys. Someone got my Courier killed. So one of the supports, please take my item, bring it to me, as I want to have my Midas gold up and running as fast as possible. They go for smoking on the side of Execration in the meantime. 3-man smoke. They want to use that Omni Slash as fast as possible to set up for a kill, possibly on the sniper. In the meantime, the Centaurs rotating around to the mid lane. Does have a Stampede available. I'm not sure what they're looking to do, but looks like they want to use his axe as well as the Centaur to gank the OD. So the sniper trying to set up a gank on the OD is not going to pay off, as they TP in 5 people on Execration. They get the kill on the sniper, and they make sure the OD is not going to be punished. The Centaur on the sidelines will be spotted out as well. So Execration, they had a very good idea that this was not just this was not like a stupid move from the sniper where he just moved up towards the enemy's high ground and just, you know, because he wanted to get creeps. Definitely because he wanted to set up something. So they will TP in 5 people. They will set up. They will make sure that they get this tower kill easily. But the Abaddon TP's in front of them. The axe as well as the Centaurs in front of them, making sure that this push is going to be as hard as possible. The Centaur does have his Hood of Defiance completed. Is going to move straight towards that blink next. The axe and 500 gold away from his own blink. We'll have it up momentarily, as that is going to be the first step in next gen's return to this game. The Wind Ranger slowly skilling up his power shot, still having some issues because of that Wind Run being skilled up, but once he gets levels, it's going to be solved. Centaur on the top lane will fight up against Nando for now. Does have a Stampede available in case of emergency. Yassi in the bottom lane. Arcane Boots have been picked up on this guy, but it's going to take a while because he gets any kind of valuable item. Stampede comes out in the meantime in the top lane, and it looks like Nando went for a spin, went for an Omni Slash, and that is a dead Centaur. That is probably the worst feeling in the world when you use your Stampede and you still die. But that's life. That's life sometimes. Either Magnus does have AP available, so it looks like he might be thinking about going for an AP here on that Wind Ranger. He needs Nando to be next to him if that is going to be happening, and Nando doesn't have enough mana for a spin, so I guess he will just have to back himself up. He doesn't really care too much anymore. There's a couple of camps that he can maybe clear in the jungle if he wants to. The Magnus will have his blink up in 1000 gold. Just have the Arcane Boots up and running on top of that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see, item-wise. The OD obviously having that Midas up and running, using it a couple of times. Yasha will be completed on the Jug now, so he's going to do a little bit more damage, a little bit more movement speed as well. Level 6 is up on the Omni as well as the Rubik, so they have their spells available. In the meantime, looks like a smoke gang comes out from the side of Next in Vietnam. They have that blink available on the axe. They want to use it for a quick pop on a hero, and it looks like it is going to be Nando they target. Yes, he will move from the sidelines. We're going to use his ultimate available in case of emergency. They are going to use this to bait. The axe comes in from the sidelines, goes in, sets up for a jump. They go in with a call. They go on the Juggernaut. It looks like the Juggernaut is going to be controlled. The shield comes out from the axe in the meantime. He goes for a healing wall on the ground. Looks like Nando will be able to survive, and they got a kill on the Abaddon. The Rubik is trying to get himself away. The Juggernaut shield available. Gets jumped on, gets dunked in the face as the axe will have none of this foolishness. He will get the kill on the Rubik as well. 1-for-1 trade off in the bottom and hardly worth it for the side of next gen though. Losing your hero and only getting a 1-for-1 trade off might not be worth it. They go for a crawl, they will keep the axe alive, and Nando he will use another spin, so will slowly drop down in terms of mana, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They got the better trade off either way. The Rubik killed the Abaddon, so they're going to be happy with how that situation went, especially because next gen they're the ones using a smoke gang to try and set up for that. It's better than nothing. Again, they go in, they have an Apothic Shield available on that axe, so a little bit extra burst damage in case they can find something quickly, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, so have to back up empty-handed. Empty-handed, that's the worst thing. Magnus will have his blink up in 100 gold, so he can start getting some place of his own. It's about time this guy moves around the map, tries to do something with his team. He is sitting on the same amount of farm as the Centaur in the enemy team's off-lane position. Oh, well, I don't even know if you can call it that. I mean, he was technically the safe laner, but they were 1v1, so they are supposed to have an equal amount of farm. The axe moves up to the top lane with an Invis rune on him, but again, there's just no one to be found. Execration, they're doing a good job dodging out this axe as much as possible. Centaur will have his blink up in 800 gold, so he can go for some plays as well, and it looks like they need this guy to do the work, as like the last game, this guy was the biggest part of next gen's initiations and kills, so they might have to need him to do the same thing this game. Viper, level 9, trying to finish up a Dragonlance, trying to farm up this little ancient stack. Will take him some time, as that is a beefy creep to go through, but he's trying his very best to catch up with the OD. He's 1,000 gold behind him, but despite, I mean, considering the early game he had, he was sitting on half the lastness of the OD. He got killed multiple times. I guess 1,000 gold behind is not too bad. It could be a lot worse for sure.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
The Rubik steals the power shot. That's a pretty nice spell to steal from the enemy team. I believe if you Fate Bolt and power shot, you can actually just kill a creep wave instantly. That's pretty nice. Pretty sweet. Rubik gets a lot of farm because of this. He's ahead of the Wind Ranger in terms of items. You know, Arcane Boost is complete. He can go for 1/earn, pick up very soon. The Magnus has that blink available. He can go in, go for that skewer back. They can roll the Wind Ranger, they lift him up. They don't want to use any excessive spells to get this kill, and they don't have to. Just a power shot, Fate Bolt combo, and that is going to be a dead Wind Ranger. Rubik doing 600 damage with those two spells. Time to get the power shot. Will drop down a little bit, tries to deny a little bit, tries to defend this tower, but Rubik will make it very difficult with those power shots, and it's very difficult to dodge them out as well. You can barely see the animation when he starts shooting the power shot. Okay, Magnus goes in, tries to go for skewer back on that Centaur, but this time he misses it.
Top tower is under attack.
Alright, the Centaur's blink is going to be available now. Aping in meantime in the top lane tries to go for Midas pick up on this Omni Knight. Kind of greedy item to go for on a support Omni Knight, but I guess he just wants to scale into the late game or whatnot. They're pushing the top lane with this Omni as well, trying to just push it down. They don't. Now as they rotate around, they're trying to set up some kills in the mid area, but there's a lot of heroes making sure to gather up. The Magnus goes in, has vision on this clip. They immediately heroes, they go for the RP, they hit the Wind Ranger, will take it down first. The axe goes in, gets a call off, but the Guardian Angel came up from the Omni Knight in time. They will make sure that no one can take it down. The axe is going to be the one getting initiated on. In the meantime, the axe goes in, gets a kill on the Juggernaut. 5 kill streak will be ended. The axe jumped on by this Magnus. He does still continue to hit it. Let's see if he can get the blink away in time. Shockwave hits him. Looks like they might be able to stop him from moving. The Sandra's Eclipse comes out. Looks like the axe will be taken down with that tower securing the kill. He does not manage to get a blink away in time. And that is going to be 2 dead on the side of Nexion and only 1 on the side of Execration, maybe more. As the Abaddon gets lifted up into the egg and taken out. The ultimate gets popped. Astral comes out just to keep him in control a little bit longer. The OD tries to do a little bit of damage on Ranto on this OD, but he's not going to keep him in place. The heal comes out from the Omni, and yes, he should be taken out easily as the Stampede comes out. The Centaur goes in, gets a kill on the OD. In the meantime, Stampede is not available. He tries to go for TP, not happening. As the skewer hits both the snipers, Wills pushes back the sniper. The Centaur one makes sure he does get the TP away, but did he even get a kill on anyone? Okay, the Shockwave does hit the sniper. The Centaur's still alive on the sideline. He doesn't have enough mana to go in for a jump. He goes in, gets a double edge off, gets a triple kill as the Magnus dies as well. The Centaur's still alive somehow, and he's just everywhere. Shackle comes out. They go in on this Juggernaut. Looks like that's maybe going to be an ultra kill in case he wants to be super greedy. Oh, Nando. 1 hit. Yep, ultra kill. That is the Centaur. Just the right place, the right time, always surviving. and that will again just play out of his mind on that set. So 4 kills received on this guy. He is suddenly the most farmed hero in the game, as that was a lot of gold. I mean, 2,000 gold being changed around, and pretty much all because of this Centaur. He got most of that gold. He's sitting on level 13. He has 7.6k net worth. He has 2,000 gold on top of the blink that he just picked up a moment ago, so that icon himself is going to be well on its way. The Abaddon is moving towards a mechanism pickup for his team, so just, you know, whatever can help the team to survive. The Wind Ranger will have his arcane boots up and running very, very soon. The Axe did have that blade mill complete in that fight, well, after that fight, so the next fight will be a little bit easier for them to take. Sniper with that Dragon is moving towards a Maelstrom next, so a good fight for the side of next gen. Very, very good fight. The Omni Knight, still a little bit more to go before his Midas is going to be completed. Magnus is moving towards a 4-star next, so just some proper initiations. His skills was pretty decent as well this time. Bottom lane, the Centaur goes in, jumps him down, gets a couple of hits on him, forces out a TP rotation, and then he will just back himself up. He's like, you know, I'm just doing some poking damage. I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just making sure that you know I'm here, and you know that I do a lot of damage. The Juggernaut needs a little bit more gold for that Mantis Salt, and just by the recipe gets jumped on now. Oh, the call gets missed as the Axe doesn't quite get it off. The healing wall gets put down as well. Looks like they're still going to try and run him down. The Sniper have another playing available in 3 seconds. They could commit for this, but looks like that's not going to be the case. They will just back themselves up. There's a TP available, and bottom lane meantime they're taking a fight inside up next in Vietnam. The Centaur moves himself away. Shadow comes on the OD. He gets hit. Waiting to might be able to himself. One available in a second. Axe goes in for a call. Hits the OD is going to reflect so much damage back onto himself with that blade mill. The OD might be killed just here now, and indeed he will be. The Rubik gets killed. The OD and the Omni Knight both drop down as well as next gen. They at least get those 3 kills. They might not have gotten the Juggernaut in the top lane, but they get everyone in the bottom lane. So take the T1 tower on top of that. It looks like next in Vietnam, they are back in this game. They were behind earlier, 2,000 gold behind us in Execration, but now they're going to be the ones in the lead. They're going to be the ones in the lead. They have a 1,000 net worth lead. They take down the T1 on the bottom lane. They tried to look for whoever was hiding in the trees, but he already TP'd himself out as he did not want to be part of this anymore. The Juggernaut will have that Mantis Star completed now, but he's pretty much the only one getting what he wants in this game. The OD close to finishing his next set of items as well, as that is going to be his Hurricane Pike on top of that 4-staff. So he's also having a decent farm with that Midas, obviously helping him along the way, but the Sniper's catching up, and this guy had a horrible time in the start, so him catching up is pretty damn decent. The Axe as well, still keeping himself on toes with the Jug as well as the OD in terms of farm. He's moving back onto that Vanguard pickup as he wants to have a little bit more HP, a little bit more tankiness. Well, the Vanguard for the armor purposes doesn't really make too much difference. But, you know, it gives you more HP, gives you more region, so why not? And looks like he might be trying to get a jump on Nando here, so he's get a good jump. Abel comes out, that's going to be dead Juggernaut instantly as he gets killed. The RP comes out from EVOS, but the Juggernaut will already be killed. Doesn't need a dunk to kill him, as those spins will be more than enough. That Empower is going to be turned around against that Juggernaut. As like I said, the Empower just makes him die a lot faster to that blade mill, and indeed that is exactly what happened. Rubik gets hit by an assassinate by the Sniper. Looks like that is going to be the 3rd one dead inside of Execration. As next in Vietnam, I'm not sure what's happening inside of Execration, but they are being run down. The Juggernaut trying to go for a very greedy push in that bottom and on that tier 1 tower. Does not respect the fact that the Axe was missing on the map, and clearly the Axe will always be looking to set up a kill on that Jug. So punishment will be received on the side of Execration. Aping does have that Midas completed finally. We'll look to use it somewhere. You know, Midas value, please give me a creep I can eat. But there's no creeps nearby that he can take. The Centaur in the meantime with the Action sitting in the sidelines. So have that Icon super completed now on the Centaur. So the Stampede is going to do a lot more work with these 2 heroes. The Astral comes out onto that Centaur, but Taunt came out in the meantime. The Omni is going to be able to keep the OD alive, but he's down to 130 HP, will be healed up. A little bit back up. Looks like they're still looking to get a jump done. Lane is available. They go in. They find aim Bing, as they know he's very, very low in terms of HP, but they're not going to be able to get the kill. Not going to be able to get. Alright, the Magnus goes in from the sidelines. He does have a spear. The Axe goes back in. Goes for the call. He's going to be alive. Courtesy of that Abaddon still. They try to get the first kill. Not able to get anything. The Astros will stay the Juggernaut side for now. The Omnicide comes out on. That's going to be trying to look for TP back home. Will not be happening as the Sanchez Eclipse will stop that dream. from being ever true. Let's see, the center will be killed. The Axe one might be the next one to drop. He goes for a call. The blade mail will reflect the damage, but you will be killed either way. The Magnus stuck on the cliff now. On the side, Assassinate comes out onto the Omni Knight. The Omni Knight gets killed in the end, but they lose 3 heroes inside of Next Gen Vietnam as finally Execration, they get a fight that turns out in their favor. 2,000 gold going that way. The Rubik doing 3,000 damage in that fight. I mean, the stolen shrapnel, 3 shrapnels being used, multiple fade bolts, multiple stolen missed calls as well. I mean, that, you know, might as well get all of those spells you possibly can, do as much damage as you can, and him doing the most damage in a fight, that is insane. I didn't really pay attention to whose shrapnel that was either, because, you know, when you see shrapnel, you're like, okay guys, that's just, you know, sniper's shrapnel doing its work, but that was a stolen shrapnel, so that's why everyone took so much damage on the side of Next Gen Vietnam, and that is a very good steal to get. Shrapnel is probably one of the best spells in the game to get. It does insane amounts of damage per second. It's kind of a hard spell to steal though, because the sniper is usually sitting so far back that you can't get close enough to actually steal that. But the Rubik managed to do so. He does have the power shot still, so another heavy burst spell for those fights. This is like this is like a dream for the Rubik. You have a shrapnel, loads of damage, easy to steal if you get close to the sniper. Power shot, loads of damage. You have the mist call as well, the apothic shields. All of these spells is amazing to steal. Now they go for smoke gang. They try to set up on someone. I'm not sure if they want to go on the Abaddon. They go on him. And the Astral comes out after the ultimate gets falls out on the Abaddon. The Action gets the off with initiation. Quite goes off. Yet, looks like Nando might be something, but the Apothic Shield will keep that to save. Stampede comes out, not going to be good enough, as the Juggernaut will be sent into the natural tournament. Will be alive for now. Nando gets healed up by Aping. He's still alive. The healing wall gets put down. The Assassinator gets poked a little bit with that sniper, but in the end, they'll have to back themselves up. They don't get the kill yet again on that Jug. Flash comes out, looks like the Juggernaut will be torn it off afterwards. He will be pulled back. They don't get the kill on anyone here. The other side is not going to be good enough to get any kills. Shackle comes out, very good Shackle. Some comes out, looks like the Juggernaut will finally be killed. Dunk comes out, Assassinator as well. They want that Juggernaut dead. EVOS goes in for an RP, he's onto the center. The center will be killed next year. Astral comes out. The sniper gets hit once, and the high ground will not be able to give him that miss chance that he needs. He gets killed as well. The sniper is dead. The Wind Ranger is dead. The only one who survives is going to be the Axe as Execration. They turn this fight around again. Alright, Execration, they're now going to look a lot better than they did a second ago. As the OD and the Juggernaut, they are the 2 most farmed heroes in the game. Jug has that blink available. The OD does have his Hurricane Strike and his blink available in a second. They're trying to take on the tier 2 down the mid lane. They might look to go for it. Skill comes up from EVOS. It does not hit on the Yassi though. He does have his ultimate available, but he needs to be careful. This may be a little bit too far. Here comes the Axe though. He sets up on that OD. The OD is doing a lot of damage to himself. He will be healed out though. Oh, the Sandwich with that blade mill, reflecting back the damage. That was not the play he wanted to make, as the OD will drop down. They do get the kill on the Axe, but at what cost? Losing the OD is a little bit sad though. The Abaddon will walk up to the high ground, you know, cliff movement speed, why not? He goes up, he will survive, and let's see if they can get any turnaround kills. The Wind Ranger is trying to chase the Rubik in the meantime. The Apothecary will be safe for now. They go from the Shockwave in the back, they go in, Skewer comes out, he tries to cliff. The Wind Ranger doesn't actually happen though. They go for the lift now, and now they get the cliff up. So the Wind Ranger is going to be on the high ground. He will be controlled, he will be slowly murdered on that cliff. Nice little play there from Execration. Again, just finishing those aggressive plays from Next Gen. The Axe got killed. The Wind Ranger dropped down. The Abaddon surviving is very fortunate for him. Just running up the cliff because of that stampede. But again, you know, there's only so much you can do. You don't have a safe lane carrying the side of Next Gen Vietnam. So they need to be careful pulling this game further and further, as Execration, they're now sitting on a 4,000 net worth lead. And item-wise, they're going to pick up a lot of big items. The Blink is up on the Rubik. The OD has his Blink up available now, moving towards the Shiva Guard. Next to Juggernaut is going to be half his way towards his Scotty. Another big stat item. The Magnus, 4-staff, and almost the Shadow Blade completed. The Omni Knight will have that mechanism up and running in a second as well. Looks like it is going to be completed, moving towards Grease straight after. So that Midas is slowly going to be paying off. In the meantime, on the side of Next Gen, well, nothing on top of that Akinens that they had out for like 10 minutes on the 10th tower, so he's not really managing to get any more value. Still the most farmed hero on his team. The Stampede comes out, not sure why, but it came out. I guess it was worth someone got jumped down. In the meantime, Execration, they're going for rush down, and that's going to be easy to take, especially with Stampede not being available. Then they don't have any reason to worry that it's going to be contested. does have almost a Crimson Guard completed. The Abaddon, Mechanism plus Medallion up and running. The Wind Ranger as well. Nothing on top of that though. Rambo goes in, gets an Astral off. Looks like this action might be a little bit in trouble. Goes for Tony, tries to keep himself safe. Goes for a lift. On the side comes out. The Axe is going to take a lot of damage, but it's not going to be good enough. The Axe is still alive in the backlines. Goes for dunk on one of the two. Tries to get a little bit between him and Nando on that jump, but it's not going to be enough. The Axe will finally drop on. Takes a long time, but they get the kill in the meantime. Yodi in the backlines gets repelled up. He does not have the Aegis on him. He gets killed by the Sniper in the backlines. The Sniper gets killed as the Rubik goes in, gets a dunk off, gets 2 dunks off as the Rubik is killing everyone with that stolen dunk from the Axe. And that is going to be a lot of dead bodies on the side of next in Vietnam. Kim also trying to move on further. Just has a Sling Gun cooldown for now. Wind Ranger gets away with that. Wind Ranger tries to escape. There's still the place of destiny, the place of doom. Dunks, Apothic Shield. This Rubik is having a blast this game. Alright, let's see. High ground seems to be sieged outside of Execration. They still have that Aegis, so even though they lost the OD, they can still keep that Aegis on that Juggernaut. He gets hit by a shackle, by what's called hit by a shackle shot. By the Wind Ranger, but the 250,000 will be taken down further by surely. They go for steal back on that Wind Ranger. He's going to be controlled. He will be killed as Kimmel goes in. Another dunk. That is going to be the 3rd dunk in a row that hits and kills. The Rubik will just continue doing so. He's going to be moving towards his Acronym set the next as well. I mean, why can you blame this guy? He's been having a fun time with all of the spells, so might as well continue moving into some big spells. Unstoppable kill streak will now be ended. That is a 700 gold bounty on that Rubik that the Axe will claim. So a very, very valuable Rubik kill. The Axe will finish up his Crimson Guard. Will move towards a Silver Edge next. So there's some ways to get a better initiation off, as they need to start getting some better initiations for sure. The Magnus does have a Shadow Blade complete himself. Maybe looking to get an RP off on someone here. The Centaur could be a nice target. Let's see if they go for it. I'm not sure if they want to RP the Centaur though, especially with the Abaddon sitting behind him with that Apothic Shield available, the Medallion, the Mechanism, all of that good stuff. Right, the Sniper does have a Shadow Blade complete with a Maelstrom as well, so a little bit of survivability hopefully for him, so he can position himself a little bit better, as if he gets jumped, they don't really have any defensive spells apart from obviously the Abaddon using a shield or the Centaur using a Stampede, so him having a Shadow Blade just means that he can move a little bit around himself and hopefully survive. As if he gets jumped on by the OD, I mean, it doesn't matter if he gets shielded, doesn't matter if he gets stampeded, that damage is just abysmal, so will be killed either way. Take a look at the net worth right now. Execration almost having a 10,000 net worth at the moment. Going to look good. Rubik goes and steals that Apothic Shield again. Tries to set it up, and you know, Apothic Shield is a great spell. As long as he has mana, he can use this very, very frequently. Just make sure that everyone survives. He can take away the stun from the team. It is great. Top lane in the meantime, Centaur tries to get a little bit of burden between him and that OD. He's trying to get himself away. That stolen something could be amazing if the Rubik could get a grab on him, but looks like Centaur will blink himself into the trees and he will just go for TP out, so we'll survive.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
E2 in the meantime is going to be pushed down the top lane. The Magnus don't see
Dire's
this
top
quickly. They
tower
go
is
for
under
lift.
attack.
They do have that skill available. They will steal him up onto that cliff. They will try to go for the TP back home, but not going to be happening. They have the vision up there, and they will go for an Astral. The Wind Ranger will be killed slowly but surely. Again, it seems like that is going to be a thing, that the Wind Ranger always gets put on a
Dire's
cliff and
top
killed.
tower has fallen.
Is that how you murder like female heroes in the game? Seems a little bit excessive, but oh well. Execration to take the last outer tower. Well,
Dire's middle barracks are
second
under
last outer
attack.
tower. There's still teams trying to bottom lane. They now go in mid lane, tries to get a jump on something. The Axe goes for a taunt, tries to get a jump on that Juggernaut and falls him out of position. Not going to be happening. There he goes. Astral Magnus seems to take a lot of time for that time in the meantime. And it looks like that's not really going to be the most fun thing in the world. He gets taunted up again. Astral comes up, keeping him alive. Another grab push gets the shot off. Juggernaut is going to be taken down. That's going to be the Aegis dropping. Yasi still does have a little bit of HP left. His ultimate did get used already. The Axe gets on again on that jump. And Magnus goes in front of RP. The Abaddon will be taken down instantly. The Sanders Clips has been used. Nice jackal on the OD as well as the Magnus in the background. Comes out from the Centaur. He doesn't hit it onto anyone though. The Axe goes in for another call on that Sniper. Sniper doing a lot of damage on Fernando, trying to kill him, trying to finally bring him down, but they don't have the damage. The shrapnel comes out, the shackle shot comes out, to anyone though. The axe goes in, gets a 2-man torn off. That's going to be big. Rubik gets killed instantly. The Omnight is going to be in trouble. He gets killed by that sniper in the back. The sniper's doing so much damage to everyone. They try to keep him alive. The OD gets killed. The skewer back comes up from the Magnus trying to keep himself alive. The Omnight will be the third one to be followed and killed. As the sniper is just doing so much damage in these fights. He's allowed to just hit people freely. 8,000 damage with 4 shrapnels and just a lot of right-click damage with that Mjolnir. So Execration pushing high ground, very difficult against an axe. They go in for Stampede, they go for a jump as well. And looks like the Magnus is going to be found and executed in the jungle. 4 dead on the side of Execration as again. The net worth is going to be swapped around. They don't lose a Melarax in the base defense on the side of Next Gen Vietnam, and now they can look to take towers themselves. The next Roshan is going to be up in, well, roughly 3-4 minutes, something around those lines. The sniper picks up a double damage rune, so continuing this push is not going to be difficult, as they can just keep on going. No RP before the Magnus is back up when the OD respawns. So it's going to be 50 seconds back until that Santis is going to be available. 20 seconds cooldown on the Stampede, so they can look to go for high ground. And indeed, they will do that. They will go for the tier 3 tower. The ultimate comes out. The axe goes in, tries to go for a call on that Rubik. Rubik will be hit by Hoofstorm, but nice little help from the Army Knight, making sure he does not get hit by anything. Lando in the meantime tries to go in and do something, but he will have to back himself up, as that Scotty slow is only going to do so much. Yeah, but I'm still having enough solar ability, still has his ultimate available as well. The solar press has been completed in the meantime. They tried to burn down that tier 3 tower at the very least before backing up. The Sniper's going to do as much damage as he possibly can, but they decide to back themselves up. They don't want to be greedy. The OD will keep at least one person here in position. Shackle comes out, the Abaddon pops his ultimate, will be fine for now, but looks like this guy will have to give up his life, as the OD will just hit him as much as possible. Steal all of that intelligence, steal it all, take it all, take everything. 40 social intelligence from one hero, why not? Alright, well, the tier 3 tower is still going to be alive, so the shrine is not going to be in danger. And Execration, they now move back down the mid lane. There's not going to be a buyback available on the Abaddon right now. He doesn't have enough gold to use it. The axe in the meantime goes invisible with that Shadow Blade, tries to move into position. They need to set themselves up for another good hold here. So Winter with that build available, they go in for a call on the Juggernaut. The keep him alive again. I don't use those defensive assholes every single time. Shackle comes out from the wing, trying to do some damage. He goes for a power shot. At least hits a little bit onto that Rubik. See, Axe goes in, tries to go for a jump. Not like it's be happening this time around. Goes for a taunt on that Juggernaut in the meantime. He goes for a lot of damage hits. You got an Angel comes out, trying to keep him alive. The wing goes in, tries to go for a Shackle. He drags back that armor slash. Juggernaut. The Juggernaut goes opening back into towards the mid lane. Will have to back himself up. Rambo gets taunted out this time around. Looks like he's going to be dead. He will be killed. As that is one dead inside of Execration. 2-man Hoofstorm from the Centaur comes in. They want to go in, they want to chase the heroes. They get another kill on the Omni Knight. The Rubik tries to go for TP back up. Looks like he's going to be able to do so. Oh, so close to get that taunt off, but not quite in time. The Magnus will back himself up as well. Will blink himself further back. He has a skew available as well in case of emergency, but he's going to be farming these Ancients. That's maybe a little bit too greedy. He will be hit by an urn. They might be able to follow him down. They had the vision of him. He's still going to be affected by that urn for a couple of seconds. So depending on... Okay, he goes invisible. He hides himself in the tree, so he will be fine. But he will not be punished. And they will push the bottom and then kind of try to take that TP tower out of position. Might as well do some damage. I mean, his heroes are still dead. They don't want to use that buyback on the OD, so they're going to have to go for a push in the other lanes instead. The OD goes for a buyback. TV's in the sidelines, maybe a little bit too close to the enemy. Astral comes out on the axe. In the meantime, keeping him under control. The sniper tries to bring down that Melarax. In the meantime, the Rubik goes very, very deep. Maybe a little bit too deep on this Rubik. Adjusted now. They go in for a Stampede with that Centaur. They miss the Hoofstorm, as the Abaddon will be a little bit in trouble. As that is a lot of intelligence being thrown by the OD. He's sitting at 52 soul intelligence. That ultimate will hurt. Okay. Back themselves up on the side of Next Gen Vietnam. They took the Melarax and they decided, okay guys, we just gave 15 intelligence to the OD. Maybe we should back ourselves up, otherwise someone will be blown up and killed instantly. So they'll just go back. Again, it's all about that defense now. The axe does have his BKB as the next item in mind. Makes sense, you know, BKB is going to be nice. You kind of lose the value of the blade mill with the BKB, because if you go in, you BKB taunt the OD, then he doesn't use his arcane off to actually hit you. But I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, survivability on the axe. You might go for a heart instead for some extra HP, but looks like the BKB is going to be the option. Roshan to be worked out in the meantime, as they want to get that Aegis on the Juggernaut, making sure that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to kill. As pushing high ground, I mean, this guy is not hard to kill the first time, but if he has 2 lives, it's going to be a little bit easier. Next in Vietnam, in the meantime, they have the refresh up complete on the Centaur, so they have 2 Stampedes available in the next fight. The Wind Ranger will have his blink up soon enough as well, so he can go for some proper blink initiations to get the shackle shots off that he wants. Sniper with that Mjolnir, Shadow Blade, Crystallis, almost a full Daedalus as well, so his damage is going to be even crazier than it already was. The Abaddon has picked up a gem as well, so they have some good vision, and he's moving towards a Blade Mill next. I mean, all this guy does pretty much in the fight is go in, tank some hits, tank until he has to pop his borrowed time, and then just hope for the best. So the Blade Mill is going to be nice, just to make sure that until his ultimate pops, it's going to be painful to bring him down in HP. In the meantime, on the side of Execration, the Rubik finally finishes up that Acronym Scepter. Only going to be useful if he steals any of the good spells on next gen though. If he steals the Dunk or if he steals the Stampede. But I guess just to lower the cooldown of the spell steal is also reason enough to get the Acronym Scepter. DOD has the Shiva's Guard completed now. Still no BKB, so still no easy survivability. But I guess when you have an Omni Knight on your team, you don't really want to go for BKB. You have Repel after all. The Omni Knight himself has his Guardian Greaves completed, moving towards a Acronym Scepter next. He did also kind of decide to kind of think about going for an Aether Lens as well, but looks like that is going to be something he doesn't want to go for anyways. Magnus has 3.5k gold on him, so refresh up could be a thing that he picks up soon enough. The Juggernaut does have a butterfly on top of the Skadi, so he's going to be very survivable, does a lot of damage, still the most found here in the game. And the Sniper going for that Daedalus pickup. Looks like he might have to change his mind in terms of items, go for an MKB instead. If he changes his mind now, he can finish up the MKB in 1500 gold. It's not going to be too bad, but if he finishes the Daedalus first, then it means he has to go for an MKB on top of that. He might do that anyways, because it feels like the Sniper is not really going to have issues with HP. He just needs to do a lot of damage. They go for a hit onto that Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is going to take a lot of damage. It's already going to be the well. Stampede goes down. DOD tries to keep him in control. Stolen Stampede comes out from Rubik in the meantime. The Guardian Angel comes out as well. The Axe goes into a 2-man call. The Stolen Stampede number 2 jumps out. Looks like the Axe is going to go back in. Nando's going to drop down very low. In the meantime, the Rubik is going to be able to secure a kill on that Wind Ranger. The Wind Ranger will be the first one to drop. Both Stampedes has already been used by the side of next gen. They need to back themselves up to their base, as they've already used everything. The Rubik will have... Okay, he actually went for another steal before that, but I was going to say he has the Stampede up soon again, but no, he stole another spell. He wanted to continue stealing spells throughout that fight, and that is going to be a win run he has available right now. Maybe not the best one of all, but oh well. Stampede is back up in 25 seconds. There's going to be one Stampede though. The Abaddon is hit by the Hurricane Pike, will be forced to use his ultimate, and looks like that OD is going to ramp up those intelligence charges. He does have 52 stolen intelligence. The Juggernaut will lose his first life. The stolen shrapnel comes out from the Rubik in the meantime, as he shoots it back onto the enemy, keeps them at bay, keeps them from blinking in. Will disappear now. The Axe goes in, goes for a taunt. Magnus goes in from happy in the meantime. One last time, hits him back, takes him back in. The Sanders Eclipse comes out from the OD, brings down the Axe towards the Cyber. Instantly, the Abaddon is dead as well. They bring them all down, force the buybacks instantly. They will be able to bring down those Metalrex. The Stolen Stampede comes out. The Cyber is going to be run down. They have the gem that they took away from the enemy. The Sniper will be killed the second time. The Axe goes in for the call, will not be able to survive. GG gets called as next gen. The high ground defense was so strong, but not good enough if they give up Stampede to the enemy team. And that is going to be Execration finally bursting through and finishing off this game. Alright guys, looks like we will have a game of 3 as Execration. They fight their way back in the second game. It was not easy by any means, but they will be alive for now. And it's going to be the next game coming up in just a second. I am at Kingstone. I hope you enjoyed so far. We'll have the third and deciding game in this playoffs match between Execration and Next Gen Vietnam, and see who will drop down to the lower bracket and who will move on further in the winners bracket. See you in just a moment.
Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Clockwork!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Lion.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Legion
Dire
Commander.
team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Naga Siren.
Very, very easy time dealing with them. But apart from that, it's pretty much only the Invoker who can deal with that split push from the Naga Siren. Well, Ursa, Slaughter, Lion, all these heroes, they don't really deal too well with a lot of illusions being sent out. The Lion can mana burn them and take away one illusion one by one every 4 seconds, but it's still going to be a very, very slow thing. Like in the meantime, next in Vietnam, they are going to set themselves up to potentially go for some pulling, some farming in the jungle as they are taking away all of these trees. So it looks like the IO is going to be trying to get some jungle farm up and running for himself, otherwise he would be removing all of these trees. He's going to have a fun time. In the meantime, they are pinging a lot. He's like saying, okay guys, I need to remove these trees as well. I need to remove this tree, this tree, this tree, and they will use the tether a couple of times to make sure all those trees disappear that he wants to get taken away.
30 seconds to battle.
Alright, well, might as well. In the meantime, Execration, they have shot out a couple of Sunstrikes to get some vision here and there. They have put down their own little set of wards. Bottom lane, they have a lane ward. Looks like they don't really have anything else set up right now. The Slaughter, they put down a ward? Yeah, they put down a ward on the rune in the top area in the meantime. High ground ward in the mid lane and also in the bottom lane. So they're just focusing on what is happening at the runes and what is happening in terms of rotations from Execration. In the meantime, the Timbers on the top lane does get spot out, does see this Weaver moving in, trying to be a little bit fancy. Clockwork goes in for the card, trying to push back the slot, trying to get some space to the Weaver, but the Weaver is actually going to be a little bit in trouble. He cannot go down the low guard because of the Cucks. They will have to wait a little bit. He does survive though, but that's a lot of region being forced out by this guy, and it looks like he is indeed going to be the safe lane farmer on this Weaver. So they have a carry Weaver mid Naga Siren, and the Clockwork will be a support hero. He's going to move into position, trying to potentially snipe this courier, but the Invoker has yet to use that courier for anything. Looks like he doesn't want to buy a healing cell. He's going to be like, dude, you're not going to get anything from me. As he's fine, you know, he's playing as a melee hero, so he might not feel the need to buy a lot of regen, as he does have his Verify. He has those two he has those two, what's it called, tangos as well, and you can always use the Shrine Heal and whatnot, so he should be fine. See, bottom lane, IO plus Legion Command is trying to be annoying as much as possible against this Ursa. They're doing a lot of damage against him, and like I talked about, like in the laning stage, this Ursa is a hero that can easily be punished, and he's taking a lot of damage. He only has 2 more tangos left as he went for Poor Man Shield, so in terms of regeneration, he doesn't have much left on him, and the IO will be able to keep this Legion Commander full in terms of mana and HP, and he can spam out those overwhelming odds every single time he wants to. Nando is going to drop down very, very frequently, and this is going to be a hard lane for him. A lot of creeps here in this camp, just being annoying. The Lion is trying to make sure he cannot pull it every single time just by hitting it simply one single time. Yeah. Lane is going to be hard though. The Nagasai in the mid lane does have free farm for now. 10 last hits, 2 denies. There's a Poor Man Shield, Quelling Blade, and just the fact that this hero has a lot of tankiness makes sure that the Invoker cannot really contest him too much. He did go for the Alacrity style on the Invoker to get a little bit more damage, so he can properly last it against the Naga Siren. But even then, it's kind of difficult because Naga has so much armor that he doesn't take that much damage. And spamming out those Riptides is also very, very annoying, very bursty. The Timbers on the top lane is 1 versus 1 versus the Weaver right now. The Clockwork and the Slaughter pretty much just following each other around, trying to harass each other as much as possible. Both of them not really accomplishing much on in the game right now. As I mean, a Clockwork support with level 1 Cox is not really going to do anything against the Timbersaw, especially now that he has his Poor Man Shield, he has his boots completed, he has level 2 reactive armor, so this guy is going to become a very, very big problem in this lane very, very quickly. As you can see, the Weaver is not really in a position where he can ever hit the creeps. The Timbersaw is just running him down, making sure that he feels the pain, and this Weaver has no more regen available on him, so he can actually not do anything anymore in this lane. He's just going to sit here. He needs to wait for the regen. He might have to use the courier for something, but at the moment it's being sent back to the base, still not upgraded, so this is a very, very poor start for the side of Next in Vietnam. Bottom lane, they are contesting this lane. The Legion Commander is making sure the Ursa feels the same way as this Weaver, but I'm not sure if the Ursa is the one who's suffering the most. I mean, you know, last hit wise he's behind. He will catch up. He can just go jungle if he feels like it. He can pick up an Iron Talon and farm in the jungle if it becomes super bad. He was waiting for the Invoker to come into position to use the Shrine Heal. He will now move back to the lane. The Legion Commander himself does have his boots plus Windlace completed, so he's very fast, very mobile. The IO is trying to finish up this camp. The Ursa will come in to take one of those troops away. He will be hit by an overwhelming odds in the meantime. Tries to run down the IO, but the Ursa wants to get this kill. Goes for the Earth Shock. Maybe able to get the kill. Indeed, they get the first spot on the IO. They now go on the Legion Commander as well. Get some hits onto him, and it looks like the Ursa is going to be successful making that move in there, and finally gets something in return. That was nicely done there. Clockwork in the meantime does have his Battery Assault doing its thing. The Slaughter's moving into position, trying to follow him down. He does have his Guidance Field available in a second. Cox is up in a moment. Let's see, does he get the Cock Block off? The Slaughter's moving him down, trying to get that crush off. He gets the crush off. Looks like he's going to be a dead Clockwork, as indeed he did not get the Cox off in time. Waited too long. I'm not sure if he would have got it off, but if you're ever going to get it off, you need to use it the second it's off cooldown, because the Slaughter's faster than you, so it will get closer and closer otherwise. That is 2 kills to the side of Execration. The Timbersaw, like I said, in this top lane, still having a very, very lovely time with all of these skill points, all of this free farm. He's sitting on 22 last hits. The Weaver is getting lasted. It's kind of difficult for the Timbersaw to deny creeps, because the way Timbersaw works is, you know, you want to have your reactive armor stacks up and running, so you have to pretty much push the wave, and without a Quelling Blade, you don't really out damage the Weaver, so denying creeps is kind of difficult. But he can at least make sure that he gets free farm himself, and the Weaver gets contested as much as possible. In the back lines, looks like the Lion was a little bit deep on a mission trying to stop this jungle from being farmed, but that is not going to be happening. The Lion is going to be taken out of the mission. He tried to get some wards out as well, having 2 active observer wards, but, well, obviously didn't really get anything done. In the meantime, the IO has been stacking a lot of the camps. The Ancients are stacked once, so the Naga Siren does have a good amount of farm he can complete in this jungle. He's sitting on 25 last. The Invoker still ahead of him at the moment, but as long as the Naga Siren gets an even amount of farm at the same matter, so like the Earth in the bottom looks like he's going to be taken down by this Clockwork. As the Clockwork moves in, gets the battery assault off, and that is a dead Ursa. Clockwork will finish his Tranquil Boots with that, gets a little bit more movement speed, and the Ursa is definitely suffering in this lane. Goes for as many laning items as he can. Ring of Health gets picked up. Ring of Regen, sorry, and the Orb of Venom is also picked up on the Ursa, but it's only, you can only do so much on an Ursa, right? Only do so much. Lion as well. He is level 4, so at least he does have a decent amount of levels. He's managing to pull a lot, and at least deny a lot of experience from this IO/Legion commander. But both of these teams, they have level 4 in this lane. The IO gets jumped on now. The Sunstrike comes down. The Sunstrike will hit him as he doesn't get the tether off. It was on cooldown, so the Legion commander will lose his little ball of lightning. And Kimmel on the line will go for the little victory dance just to say that, hey man, I killed your ball of lightning. Alright, well, like I said, this game, they have loads of setup for the Sunstrike, so as long as they can continue giving this Invoker easy Sunstrike kills, that is going to be a very, very good trade-off, because the Invoker is getting free farm in the mid lane, he's getting good last hits, and if he gets those leech kill with the Sunstrikes, then he can continuously move further and further ahead in terms of net worth. His Midas will be up in a moment, so it's going to be a good Midas timing 7 minutes into the game on top of an Aquila. The IO got taken down again in the bottom lane as the Lion and the Ursa is moving very, very close towards their ultimates. Once the ultimate is online, this Legion commander is not going to be that hard to kill either, as he's only super strong before the Ursa has his Enrage available. Once the Enrage is up and running, it will become much, much easier for this guy to contest the Legion commander properly. The Legion commander himself, to be a little bit careful. He did another overwhelming also available in a second. Looks like the Ursa is faded out. Kill comes out, the Legion commander takes a little bit of damage. The Lion will leech the experience in the meantime, while the Ursa will have to walk himself back to base. He's like, okay, I'm maybe a little bit too low HP, and the Lion, he will get the joy of having free farm in the meantime. He might actually get level 6 before the Ursa if this keeps on going. That could be kind of interesting. Let's see the net worth right now. Execration to have a 1000 lead. The Timber's on the top lane. A big part of that, having a very, very easy lane for himself. The Weaver is pretty much being forced to run around and grab whatever he can find, as he's 1000 gold behind of the Timbersaw in this lane. And the Timbersaw, he is level 7 now, so contesting him is going to be pretty much a no-go, as I don't think there's any way you can contest a Timbersaw at this point. The only ones that have... Actually, no, I was gonna say the only ones that have enough damage might be like the Clockwork if he gets a battery assault with the Legion commander, but honestly, they don't have the heroes that can do damage to this guy. They need to like rotate multiple heroes in here to try and contest him. The Clockwork is going to be in position, but there's no way that you do enough damage to actually annoy this guy. He has too much survivability as long as he has 20 stacks of reactive armor, so the Weaver's going to be a little bit in trouble. Gets hit by a track on timelapse, gets forced out. Forces a little bit. Rolling Death comes out again. The Weaver's going to be dropped down, forced to use a lot of his mana as well. He does have that timelapse available in a second. Timelapse comes out. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Eve definitely making the best out of this Timbersaw, trying to do as much work as he possibly can. Battery assault comes out from the Clockwork in the meantime. Rolling Death comes out onto the Clockwork and just trying to move into position. The Jackham comes out. The battery. Oh, the Clockwork. Tries to go for TP back out. Will be able to survive as the starter does not get inside those cards to stun him and keep him in control. They might go for a stun strike in the meantime. Yeah, they went for a stun strike, but the Clockwork did survive. He juked it out. Didn't get hit by it. The top tier 1 tower is going to fall now though, as the Timbersaw will make sure of it. So easy there, easy going.
Dire's top
The Nagasan is sitting on a bottle. Iron Talon, Poleman Shield, his boots as well. He's sitting on almost 2000 gold on top of that, so he is well on the way towards his Radiance, and I don't really think it's likely that Execration will contest in this game, because they don't quite have the heroes to contest it. They are too much focused on keeping this Ursa alive in the bottom lane. He will survive for now, but the Weaver will finally move in and get that kill. They lost the Legion Commander and the IO though, as the Ursa got a good amount of return kills, and considering the Ursa is worth pretty much the same as the Legion Commander, he was actually worth less before this kill happened, but that's going to be a good turnaround. The Weaver does get a little bit of gold in that fight, but I don't think it matters. I mean, he's still 1,000 gold behind us with Timbersaw, so him getting a kill in return when they lost 2 heroes inside of next in Vietnam is going to be a price you're willing to pay on Execration side. The Timbersaw is going to be in the bottom lane now, push that out a little bit as they want to go for another tower. He took down the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, and like I said, this guy is unkillable, so you might as well use him to take down every single tier 1 tower as fast as you possibly can, and the Ursa can just farm somewhere else. The time lapse just falls out again on this Weaver. EVOS does drop down a little bit, but he does have 20 stacks of reactive armor, so there's nothing to worry about. He can go under the tower again if he wants to. In the meantime, let's see. Smoke on this line and the slaughter. They're trying to find someone. Clockwork is going to be spotted. They go for the impale. They keep him in control. He might try and get himself out of here as the Cox will finally end. Indo's going to run down with that Guardian Sprint. And the Legion Commander might go keep him alive. Looks like that's going to be the end of this attempt. If they don't have the Thing of Death available, damage is already used. And, oh, no kill will be had. Nando in the meantime tries to go for Roshan. He doesn't have any life, so it's just a little bit of help doing this. Alacrity comes out on him. He will pop this in rage as well. Looks like he needs a little bit more damage, and he's trying to give that aggro away to someone else. The Slaughter will be the one with the aggro down. Roshan will finally fall. Aegis gets picked up by the Ursa, so that's a good bounty for the Ursa to pick up. You will have a Helm of the Dominator completed momentarily, so going for that old school item that people still pick up once in a while. Some people like to go for Morbid Mask instead since the Helm got nerfed, but it's not a bad idea to go for Helm of the Dominator in this game. Buffs up himself, buffs up the Invoker and whatnot, so it's definitely not a bad idea. The Invoker is now only 2,000 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. The Slaughter is trying to bang up towards that Blink Dagger. Needs 700 more gold before that's going to be happening. The Timbers on the bottom lane does have that bit of defiance completed, and he is indeed trying to take down that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, tanking the creeps, making sure that this is going to go their way. He does get the last hit on it, so a little bit of a CS lull situation down here, but Timbersaw in terms of, you know, last hitting towers, it is actually quite difficult because it doesn't do that much damage, but you know, he had to try. Alright, and if they can get like a tier 2 tower, potentially also the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, then that Slaughter is pretty much going to get a free Blink Dagger dedicated to himself. He's also getting the mid lane right now, so he can get some more farm. And looks like they really want to just make sure this guy gets that Blink time as fast as possible. The Ursa have a little bit of farm. They go on him, Enrage comes out. Looks like the Legion Commander is going to be in trouble. He will lose the duel as that Enrage. Ooh, boy. Nando, that reaction time with his Enrage, shutting down the Legion Commander, punishing him heavily as he will give away a duel victory to the enemy. As Nando, that is also the second duel victory this game, as Nando has been able to use those Enrages every single time he goes for a duel on him. So Nando is going to be off to a good start. 20 bonus damage. You know, why not? Why not? Legion Commander not really doing anything in this early game. Aghanim's up in 900 gold on the Invoker, so going to be hard. I mean, it feels like already you're in the position on the side of next in Vietnam where you're kind of just thinking about, okay guys, we need to maybe just try and secure ourselves some farm. We need to try and use the Legion Commander to get some duel victories, but the most important thing is just make sure that Nagasan gets farm, because he is everything they have right now. Bottom lane, the duel is won by the Legion Commander, but again, the duel is going to be won by the enemy, as that is going to be the Timbersaw winning the duel. In the meantime, EVOS is going to take a lot of time from that battery wrestle. Will heal up, but not enough, as Yassi will finally burn down that goddamn Timbersaw. But they already got a kill on the Legion Commander, winning another duel on the side of Execration. And in the meantime, they force away the Nagasan, force him to move around. He will have his Radiance up soon enough, as it is going to be roughly a 15-16 minute Radiance timing we will look at. So a good timing on the Nagasan, but they are losing so much in the meantime on the map. Losing so much. Painful, man. And I mean, what is that? The fourth duel that gets given away to the enemy?
Dire structures are fortified.
10 damage on the Timbersaw, 20 damage on the Ursa. That's a lot of duels being won by the enemy team. Execration goes in the mid lane. They got that Enrage pop on Nando, just making sure they get that tier 1 tower. That's the last tier 1 tower on the side of Vietnam. Now comes EVOS into the mid lane, maybe a little bit in trouble. He tries to survive here, he gets fueled up. In the meantime, he needs to get out of those cogs, but looks like he will be a little bit in trouble. He will be pushed back, and indeed he will be taken down. That is a dead Timber, so a little bit too greedy. They're fighting into 4 heroes, duel and everything. I mean, it took a long time to kill the Timbersaw, but they can definitely kill him, mainly with that battery assault, as that battery assault is a painful amount of burst damage. Just, you know, ping, 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 slowly burning him down, as this region cannot outdo the damage of a level 4 battery assault, sadly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright. They moved on to the bottom. They still not have enough to go for the Dragonlance. They go for hook shot onto Indo. They go for relocate as well. They want to use this Legion Commander. They want to get another duel victory off. He has the duel available in 2 seconds. So it looks like Timo is going to be the target. He goes in, he spots him out. Tornado comes out. Rambo tries to keep the Legion, the line alive. Not really going to be happening though, as he does not have enough levels and enough mana to go for this counter kill. Just eat a little creep with that Midas, but that's going to be the end of it. Finally, a duel victory on the Legion Commanders. That is plus 10 gold. Oh, plus 10, what am I saying? Gold, plus 10 dual damage. Oh, slowly moving there. That's just being complete as well, I imagine. Ooh, Sunstrike. So close, but yet so far. They even had vision of him, so he kind of had a good idea of where the Legion Commander was, but he missed the Sunstrike, sadly. A little bit off the mark. Lion is going to be banking up gold towards his Blink Dagger next. It'll take him a little while. The Invoker moving towards a Blink / Travel Boots on top of his Acronym Scepter as the next item. Still the most found here in the game.
Radiant's
About
middle
2,000 gold
tower
ahead
is
of the
under
Naga
attack.
Siren. The Ursa does have his own Blink completed as well, so the triple Blink is going to be online soon on the side of Execration. They have 2 of them already. They just need that 3rd one. The Timbersaw still trying to bank up his gold for the Bloodstone, but I mean, since he started a couple of times the last little while, it will take a little while longer. The threat comes out from Yassi, misses though, so they're not going to be able to initiate onto the Timbersaw. The Swarm will be taken away, and Indo in the meantime, Crush comes out, and can see a little bit of jump as well. Tornado comes out, Meteor comes on top of that. That is going to be a lot of damage as the Legion dies. The Think of Death comes out. It will lose the Clockwork as well. That is 2,000 out of making Vietnam. The time that comes out from the Weaver, keeping himself alive. In the meantime, Execration, they'll push on further. They'll drop down a little Central Ward, and they want this tier 2 tower as they finally get to jump and get the kills.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Kaboom. Meteor.
Dyer's
Bam.
bottom
Dead.
tower has fallen.
Alright, the bottom tower gets taken away from the side of Next Gen Vietnam. That is the 4th tower that Execration brings down, and they have still to lose the 1st tower. The top tower is half HP, the bottom tower is down to about, 1/5, but either way, Next Gen, they're just not managing to actually make a push into an actual tower kill at the moment. They have a struggling time finding kills. They can't really find towers, and not getting early tower kills is kind of hurting this Nagasaren's timing as well. He does have his Radiance completed now, and he does have Travel Boots on top of that very, very soon, but you need to do a lot of work on this Nagasaren. He is pretty much the only one on the team getting a good amount of farm. The Weavers behind Dragonlance just got completed a moment ago. The Legion Commander just picked up his Blink Dagger as well. Only 10 dual damage on him. So it is all in the hands of the Nagasaren to make sure they get further into this game on the side of Next Gen Vietnam. We'll see if this guy can cut the waves efficiently enough, as at the moment looks like that is going to be a little bit hard of an ask, as the Timbersaw he's still at the point where he can easily burst down those illusions. They are not that tanky. The Invoker can kill them easily, the Ursa can kill them easily as well with an overpower couple of hits, so they're not yet tanky enough to be fully annoying. Once they can survive against the Timbersaw's use of, like, if he uses Timber Chain and Chakram and they still survive, then they are tanky enough to be annoying, but not before that. I guess in the meantime, he gets spotted, he gets run down, they go for a charge, they go for the Hex as well, they find him and they get the kill on him, as the press the attack from the Legion Commander is going to be a little bit too late. He can only take away one of the stuns, but they have so many, so they still get the kill on him. The relocate, activated a little bit too late as well, so the Nagasaren will be killed either way. They try to go on this Iron next, they go on him, Legion Commander goes for a duel on Nando, but again, the duel will be won by the Bear, and that is 4 dead inside of Next Gen Vietnam. They'll lose the 5th one as well, as they initiated, they tried to keep the IO alive desperately, but they end up losing 4 heroes for that attempt, and they just gave everything up to the side of Execration. 2,000 gold going in the pocket of Execration. They won another duel on Nando, and now he's sitting on 30 duel damage. Jesus, this guy is having a blast playing as Legion Commander. This is the best Legion Commander game you've ever seen on an Execration on this guy playing Ursa.
Dyer's structures are fortified.
I'm pretty sure this is like, he's like, I'm glad that I picked Legion, that the enemy picked Legion Commander. That's what he's thinking right now. It's better than if they had a Legion Commander who got a lot of dual damage, because, you know, they don't even have to have a Legion Commander to get dual damage. The enemy Legion is donating it to them for free, so easy peasy. I'm not sure if I should say that it's like, okay, well, Next Gen, they've had a good time the first couple of games on the Centaur, so maybe this is the time where they just go full 3-2-2 mode. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's also Centaur player who's playing the Weaver, so it's technically an off-lane Weaver, and it's a safe lane Legion, so I'm not sure if that makes it any better. It kind of makes it worse in a way, doesn't it? That the safe lane player is struggling to get anything done with the Legion commander. But oh well, oh well. It's kind of weird that you have your safe lane player playing the Legion and your offlane player playing the Weaver, because in this meta, most offlane players, they know how to play Legion, and most safe lane, or well, every safe lane player, they play Weaver. So it's like, why would you change that around? You would expect that this is like the bad way to do it. Even if you go for different lanes, then you might still have the same people playing the same heroes, just to get the benefit of it. And well, this Legion commander is at least struggling, so maybe not his most comfortable hero. Definitely not having too much fun, especially considering it's an IO Legion commander duo. Usually with the point where the Legion commander just becomes abysmal when you have an IO healing him up, but that is not really happening in this game at all. Titan in the lane taken down as well. That is the last auto top from the side of Next Gen Vietnam, and like I said earlier, well, they have taken down the T1 town on the bottom lane. Finally, the T1 town on the top lane is also very close to dropping down. They can deny this, I believe it's low enough. But, I mean, one tower being gained against the Execration lineup that has taken away 6 towers already. That is a very, very huge change. Weaver does manage to go in and take down the T1 town on the top lane as well, so they do get the second tower. Weaver's moving straight towards the BKB next. Doesn't have any damage item in mind. He just wants to be able to survive in the fights. The IO earned completed magic wand as well. Decent amount of region for his teammates. The Legion commander's moving towards the Shadow Blade next. Will take him a little while to complete though. The Nagasan does have his travel boots, his Yasha, and his halfway towards that Mantis style, as he needs to just continue farming, farm, push, make sure you get as much as possible, as he's sending out the Nag illusions every single way to every single lane, and he needs to continue doing this for a long time to stop Execration from moving around on the map. It doesn't really feel like he's actually pushing back the race as fast as he should. The Lion TB's in, takes away that little illusion, as he can one-shot them with the mana drain the whole game. So this is why maxing mana drain in this game is amazing on Lion. It makes sure that the Nagasan cannot keep one lane pushed out, because just keeping one of the lanes free from the Nag illusions is actually enough to stop this guy from having an impact. He can only push out one lane. The Nagasan will be stopped in the other lanes because of the Lion, so this is a beautiful Lion pick. See, they're going for high ground, want to take down the metal racks. They have taken down the Titan tower already. Next in Vietnam, they need to go for the counter initiation, but they need to stop this from happening. EVOS is throwing them away with all of the spells being shot out. That Boston being available as well. He's very tanky. Black will get shields on him. He will be alive from now. They try to stop this from happening. The IO gets burned down. Nagasan went for sleep, trying to help the IO from to survive, but it didn't actually happen. In the meantime, the Urza gets hit by a swarm. Urza will still be fine. They'll take a while. Take away that little bug to begin with. And the Timberwolves is chasing down Tigo, trying to keep him in control, trying to keep everyone nearby. Dequan did think about going for a duel there, but he stopped it, as he knows what happened the last time. They just went full on top of him and they killed him. So he's like, okay guys, I'm not gonna make the same mistake. I'm not gonna give any more dual damage to the enemy team, and the Metarax will be taken down. So Execration, they get a very easy grab. They take a tower, they take a Rax. Might lose the Ursa here, but that's just going to be the 8. That's just going to be the Aegis burning. The Rage pops out. Looks like Nano's still going to be fine for now. Gets a couple more hits off. That is Enrage on cooldown though. He does have his BKB available. He needs to pop that BKB. He needs the help of his team. He goes to the BKB. Duel comes out. Looks like the Legion commander again goes for a duel. This is going to be troublesome though. The duel will be won by Nando again. The Weaver will be next to him. Yes, he gets hit by a trailer from the Iris, trying to keep him alive, but no, not happening. The clock will go drop. The tornado comes out. The Iris to control Sunstrike on top of him. He will die as well. 4 damage out of Next Gen Vietnam as they lose everyone. I believe the duel was... Did the duel... Okay, it looks like the duel was not actually won. It ended before it happened. But either way, the Legion commander ended up dying. That is the moral of the story, that he died. Nagasan is trying to push the bottom lane. Looks like they are going to go for chase on him. They don't really care about going for racks in the mid lane, as it's only going to be ranged racks. They don't have any creeps anyways. They're going to look for the Nagasan in the trees. He's going to try and go for TP out. He does try and go for TP out. They find him, but they don't have anything to cancel with. The Timbersaws going for Shiva's Guard as the next item, so you can push out the waves a little bit easier. The Invoker does have that eel sort of completed, so in case they ever find the Nagasan, they can lift him up and control him. The Invoker will have a link into completed momentarily as well. You might want to go for BKB this game, just so you can pop it whenever the Nagasan tries to go for a Song of the Siren, but I guess it doesn't really matter right now. Data Link, almost a force off complete. I believe the force off is flying out to him right now as we speak. Indeed it is. Bash on the Ursa as well with that EKB on top. Let's see how they can end this game. At the bottom, Kipita will be taken out by Execration. They go for the IR. The IR drops down very, very low to the surge. They have to distract themselves up. There's already using some rage. But Big Jump up. Big Jump up with that deny. Legion Command again. Goes in, tries to do some damage onto Nando, but it's just not ever happening. The Legion Commander will go for the buyback. Iron Weaver is already both dead. The Nagasan goes for the stave in the meantime, but you only delay the inevitable as the back will be taken down no matter what. There's no way you stop this from happening. The BKB is still available on Nando, so he's not going to be in a troublesome situation. His rage is available in 10 seconds. The Clockwork gets jumped on. Nando will go for the kill with that Earthshark. They force the buyback off this Clockwork again, and the Nagasan will not be run down by Nando. He wants another kill, and Rage will be popped, and he has to back himself up. But Rax has already been taken down. They will be able to disengage, blink out, go away from the enemy space, and then just look for the next set of Rax in the top lane. I'm sure this is like the saddest way to end up as a 3 series, right? The first 2 games were super intense, and then this last game is like, okay, next in Vietnam, they're just being outplayed right now. They got outlaned, they got kind of outpicked in a way. I did say that the Ursa would struggle in the lane, and he struggled heavily in the lane, but in the mid game, this guy does so much work against Legion Commander Weaver. He's been so clutch with every single use of his enrage whenever he gets duels, so the early game duel victories that you kind of have to get in the Legion Commander just got denied every single time because of that enrage clutch. So Ursa, 40 duel damage on this guy. He's getting like that. Let's see. In the meantime, apparently the courier got killed. I'm not sure. Was that? I'm not sure how the courier died, but the courier died. Weave in the meantime gets jumped on by the Starlight, gets executed as well, as now they're moving down the mid lane. Once again, the Timber Souls going to be in the front lines with that Shiva's got available 22 block zone charges as well. Nagasan gets jumped on. The Song of the Sign is still on cooldown. They found him, and they will kill him 60 seconds without the Naga. You will have to use the buyback. Definitely, as there's no going back to this one. They're going to trade, they're going to run towards the Clockwork as well. As the Legion Commander, they blow away the Clockwork with that finger that's from the line. Good game gets called, as that is the end. Legion Commander gets taken out of commission as well. That is the end of the game. Next in Vietnam, they will call the GG as they have nothing left to give. They can buy back the Weaver, they can buy back the Naga, but the end result will be the same. They've lost too much to be able to fight back into this game. As Execration, they'll take away the 3rd game in style, and that is going to be 2-1 as Execration will move on further, and next in Vietnam they'll drop down to the lower brackets. So despite having a good showing in the 2nd game and in the 1st game as well, playing very well, it's not going to be good enough.